I stood in the funeral home parking lot staring at my grandmother's house across the street. The locks had been changed. I know because I'd just tried my key 3 times while the locksmith Brittany hired watched me from his truck. Through the window, I could see my cousin wearing Grandmother Elsa's sapphire necklace. The one she'd promised me since I was 6 years old. The one she wore in every family photo for 40 years. I know that opening probably stopped you mid-scroll. Good, because what I'm about to tell you, most people wouldn't believe it if they hadn't lived it. Stick with me on this one. If you're into real stories about betrayal so calculated it makes your blood run cold, you're in exactly the right place. And if this resonates with you already, show some love. Hit that like, maybe subscribe for more. Because trust me, you'll want to know how this ends. What happened in the next 72 hours didn't just cost me my inheritance. It nearly cost me my freedom. Before I explain how I ended up here, you need to understand something about my relationship with Grandmother Elsa. I'm 27, work as a graphic designer, and I'd visited her every single Sunday for 5 years. Every single one. After my dad died when I was 12, she stepped in, helped Mom raise me, paid for my college. We talked on the phone 3 times a week. I knew her medication schedule better than my own. I knew she took her coffee with exactly 1 sugar cube. I knew she hated when people wore shoes in her house. Brittany was my cousin on my mom's side. We weren't close. She lived 2 states away, visited maybe twice a year for major holidays. Always showed up empty-handed, always left early. I thought I knew everything about my grandmother's life. Turns out, I didn't know anything about the last 6 months of it. Brittany opened the door wearing a black designer dress I'd never seen before. Her eyes were dry. No tissues in sight. "Harper, you shouldn't be here." My throat tightened. This is Grandmother's house. Our grandmother's house. Was. She touched the sapphire necklace. She gave me this 3 weeks before she passed. Said I was the only one who truly cared about her in the end. The words hit like a physical blow. What are you talking about? I saw her every week. Saw her? Brittany's laugh was cold. You abandoned her. She told me everything. How you stopped visiting. Stopped calling. She died thinking you didn't love her anymore. The ground shifted under my feet. That's not true. I was here 6 days ago. You're confused, Harper. Grief does that. She started to close the door. The estate's been settled. Everything's mine. The lawyer has all the documentation. What lawyer? Tom handled all her affairs. Tom retired. Rick took over. She smiled. My husband. He's been managing things since Grandmother was declared mentally incompetent. My blood turned to ice. Incompetent? When? 3 weeks before she passed. Sad, really. The dementia got so bad. Brittany tilted her head. I have a restraining order being filed. You need to leave. I stood there unable to move, unable to process. Mentally incompetent? Dementia? Grandmother Elsa had been sharp as a knife when I saw her. We'd discussed politics. She'd beaten me at chess. I want to see the will. Already filed with probate. You're explicitly disinherited. Her exact words were, for abandoning me in my final years. Brittany stepped back. Goodbye, Harper. Don't come back. The door closed. The deadbolt clicked. I walked back to my car in a daze. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Miss Harper, this is Janet from Riverside Funeral Home. I have something for you. 20 minutes later, I sat in Janet's office while she pulled an envelope from a locked drawer. Your grandmother gave me this 6 weeks ago. Made me promise to give it to you after the service. She was very specific. Only you. No one else. The envelope was thick. Inside were 5 letters in Grandmother's handwriting. But they weren't letters. They were coded. Numbers and symbols scattered between words. Grandmother Elsa had been a cryptographer during the Cold War. She'd taught me basic codes when I was young. We'd passed secret messages at family dinners. This was deliberate. This was a message only I could read. I was sitting in my hotel room 3 hours later, working through the first letter, when someone pounded on the door. Police. 2 officers. They had a warrant. "Harper Chen, you're under arrest for criminal trespassing and harassment." "What? I haven't done anything." They showed me Ring doorbell footage. Someone who looked like me had been banging on Brittany's door at 2 a.m., screaming, threatening. The timestamp was from last night, except I'd been in another state last night. I had receipts, witnesses. "You can explain it to the judge. Turn around." At the station, it got worse. My bank accounts were frozen. Brittany's mother, Dorothy, my aunt, had filed a claim saying I'd stolen $50,000 from Grandmother Elsa's account last month. They had transaction records, my signature, forged. All of it forged, but they had documentation. I made bail using my credit card. The lawyer I called said it would take weeks to sort out, maybe months. Brittany's husband, Rick, was handling Grandmother's estate. He had power of attorney. He had everything. I sat in the hotel bathroom at 2 a.m., staring at Grandmother's coded letters. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the paper. Everything I thought I knew was crumbling. But these letters, there was something here. Something Grandmother wanted me to find. My phone lit up. Unknown number. A photo loaded. Grandmother's letters. All of them. Burning in a fireplace. The text came through. "Found the rest. Too late. Leave town or face prison. B." I dropped the phone. My chest felt hollow, like someone reached in and ripped everything out. But Brittany had made one mistake. She thought she'd found all the letters. She hadn't. I still had 5. And I was about to decode exactly what my grandmother had been trying to tell me. Was I wrong to keep fighting? Should I have just walked away and let Brittany win? Drop a comment, because what I discovered in those letters changed everything. My neighbor Forrest knocked on my hotel door at 7 a.m. He looked like he hadn't slept. "I need to tell you something about your grandmother, about Brittany." We sat in the hotel lobby. Forrest's hands shook around his coffee cup. Brittany moved in 6 months ago. Said she was helping with Elsa's care. Within 2 weeks, Elsa stopped answering the door. Stopped coming outside. He leaned forward. "I tried to visit. Brittany said Elsa was too tired, too confused, didn't want visitors. 6 months? But I saw Grandmother every week. Not at the house, right? She always met you somewhere else." My stomach dropped. Coffee shops, restaurants, the park. Grandmother had insisted. Said she wanted to get out more. I thought she was being social. "Brittany isolated her," Forrest's voice cracked. "I watched it happen. I should have called someone. I'm sorry." I pulled out my phone, showed him the coded letters. "Can you help me figure this out?" We worked for 3 hours. The code was complex. Layers upon layers. But slowly, words emerged. Dates. Names. And then one sentence that made my blood freeze. "Brittany is poisoning me. Special tea every morning, getting weaker. If you're reading this, I'm dead. Find the tea. Test it. She's done this before." My hands wouldn't stop shaking. You know that feeling when your body knows you're in danger before your brain catches up? That. I was pulling out my laptop to research when my phone exploded with notifications. Someone had posted a video. It was going viral. Brittany, crying on Facebook Live. Perfect makeup running down her face. I just want to grieve my grandmother in peace. But Harper won't stop. She's harassing me, threatening me. My lawyer husband is trying to help, but she's obsessed with money. Grandmother knew. That's why she cut Harper out. The comments were brutal, thousands of them. "Harper sounds psychotic. Leave that poor girl alone. Some people only care about inheritance. Disgusting." Brittany's performance was flawless, vulnerable, heartbroken, sympathetic. I looked at Forrest. She's rewriting the narrative. We need evidence. I thought about the letters, poisoning, special tea. if grandmother had been drinking it every morning. Do you know what happened to grandmother's things? Brittany threw most of it out, but I saw the trash pickup crew. Some bags were still at the curb yesterday. We drove to the house. The trash was gone. But Forrest remembered something. The hospice nurse, Marilyn. She was here at the end. Maybe she knows something. I found Marilyn at Mercy Hospital. She remembered me from my visits. Her face softened when I explained what was happening. Your grandmother loved you so much. She talked about you constantly. Marilyn hesitated. Toward the end, she told me she felt wrong, dizzy, nauseous, but her vitals were stable. I couldn't figure it out. Did she drink anything specific? Tea. Brittany made her special tea every morning, said it was for her nerves. My heart raced. Do you know what happened to it? I kept some. Marilyn looked uncomfortable. Your grandmother asked me to. She was lucid that day. Very clear. She said if anything happened to her, I should have it tested. She seemed scared. Do you still have it? In my car. I didn't know what to do with it. Seemed wrong to throw it away. The tea was in a mason jar. Dark liquid. Smelled like herbs and something chemical I couldn't place. Can we test this? Marilyn made calls. A lab technician friend agreed to rush it. Results would take 2 days. I spent those 2 days decoding more letters. Each one revealed more. Brittany had been planning this for over a year. She'd convinced grandmother's old lawyer Tom to retire early. Brought in Rick. Got grandmother declared incompetent with a fake doctor's evaluation. Had a new will drawn up. The original will, the real one, left everything to me. The house, the savings, the jewelry. Over $800,000 in assets. Tom called me on day 3. His voice was grave. Harper, I need to see you. I have copies of the original will. The medical records proving Elsa was completely sound of mind. I'm testifying. Hope. Real hope. When can we meet? Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., my office. I couldn't sleep. For the first time in days, I felt like I could breathe. Tom was respected, known. His testimony would blow this case wide open. At 8:30 a.m., Forrest called. Turn on the news! Tom's car had crashed into a tree at midnight. He was dead. Police said he'd been drinking. Lost control on a curve. Tom didn't drink. I'd met with him a dozen times for grandmother's estate planning. He'd told me he'd been sober 20 years. My phone buzzed. Marilyn. Test results are back. Harper, the tea has antifreeze and 3 different sedatives. Enough to kill someone slowly over months. But there was something else. Something Marilyn had been researching. I looked into Brittany's background. Harper, her name isn't Brittany Chen. It's Scarlett Morrison. She changed it 5 years ago. Marilyn's voice dropped. Her grandmother in Ohio died under suspicious circumstances. Police investigated but couldn't prove anything. Scarlett inherited everything. My vision blurred. Are you sure? I have the articles. Harper, she's done this before. I was sitting in my hotel room trying to process when the door exploded inward. Police. 6 officers. Guns drawn. Harper Chen, you're under arrest for elder abuse, fraud, and attempted murder. They had evidence. So much evidence. Fake medical bills showing I'd been overcharging grandmother for care. Fake emails between me and a doctor discussing how to declare her incompetent. Fake financial records showing I'd been draining her accounts. All of it fabricated. All of it perfect. All of it signed with my forged signature. Brittany had thought of everything. They took me to county jail. No bail this time. The charges were too serious. I sat in that cell for 3 days before my public defender even showed up. Young guy. Overwhelmed. Said the evidence against me was substantial. They have documentation, witnesses, video footage. This is bad. It's all fake. Brittany, Scarlett, she's done this before. Do you have proof? I thought about the tea samples, about Marilyn's research, about Tom, dead in a car crash, about Forrest's house that had mysteriously burned down the same night Tom died. I had proof, They destroyed it. The defender looked at me with pity. Then I'm sorry. Without evidence, this goes to trial. And you're going to lose. Have you ever felt completely betrayed by everyone around you? When the whole world thinks you're guilty and you're screaming the truth but no one listens? That's exactly where I was, and I had one choice left. Do something Brittany would never expect. I called Brittany from jail. My voice broke. Real tears. I'm sorry, you're right. I was jealous. I wanted the inheritance. Grandmother loved you more. I see that now. Silence on the other end. Please, drop the charges. I'll leave town. I'll never bother you again. I just can't go to prison. More silence. Then, you should have thought about that before you tried to steal from her. I know. I'm sorry. I'll sign whatever you want. Just please. Brittany's voice changed, softened. I'll think about it. But Harper, you need psychiatric help. Maybe that's what I'll tell the judge, that you're sick, not criminal. She hung up. I smiled for the first time in days. Let her think I'd broken. Let her think she'd won. Because while I was playing defeated, Marilyn was contacting victim advocacy groups. Forrest was reaching out to Ohio investigators, and somewhere in that coded mess of letters, Grandmother had left one more piece of evidence, the address of a lawyer 3 towns over, a man named James who'd kept copies of everything. At my court hearing, Brittany played her role perfectly, cried on the courthouse steps. I forgive Harper. She needs help, not punishment. I'm dropping the restraining order. I just want her to get treatment. The media ate it up. Saint Brittany. Forgiving. Compassionate. Generous. The judge ordered me into 72-hour psychiatric evaluation. Said after that we'd discuss reduced charges if I agreed to leave the state and never contact Brittany again. Brittany posted celebration photos that night. Wearing Grandmother's jewelry, drinking wine in Grandmother's house, living my inheritance. She'd gotten away with it, or so she thought. Because while I was locked in psychiatric evaluation, Marilyn submitted the T-test results to the FBI. Forrest gave them Scarlett Morrison's real identity, and lawyer James appeared at the prosecutor's office with a recording. Grandmother Elsa's voice, recorded 2 months before her death, crystal clear, completely lucid. My name is Elsa Chen. I'm of sound mind. If anything happens to me, investigate my niece Brittany. Her real name is Scarlett Morrison. She's poisoning my tea. I'm documenting everything. If you're hearing this, I'm dead. And she killed me. The FBI agent who came to the psychiatric facility looked grim. Miss Chen. We need to talk about Scarlett Morrison. Can you prove the truth before they bury you alive with lies? Because I was about to find out if justice was real or just another story we tell ourselves. The federal hearing room was packed. Media, victim advocacy groups, and families. 4 families from 3 different states, all with similar stories, all with dead relatives, all with estates that went to Scarlett Morrison under different names. Brittany walked in with Rick, designer suit, perfect hair. She saw the crowd and faltered, just for a second. Then the mask was back. The judge was a woman in her 60s, sharp eyes, no patience for nonsense. We're here regarding the estate of Elsa Chen and related criminal investigations. Ms. Morrison, you've been advised of your rights? Brittany's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client maintains her innocence. This is a witch hunt orchestrated by a bitter relative. I'll determine what this is. Sit down. The prosecutor stood. Federal, not local. This was bigger than I'd realized. Your Honor, we're charging Scarlett Morrison, also known as Brittany Chen, with 4 counts of first-degree murder, multiple counts of elder fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. Her husband, Richard Morrison, faces charges of conspiracy and fraud. Brittany's face went white. Rick looked like he might throw up. Harper harassed me for a year. Brittany's voice cracked. She's obsessed. She threatened me. I only wanted to honor Grandmother Elsa's wishes. The grandmother you poisoned. The prosecutor's voice was flat. We have tea samples, antifreeze, Sedatives. Your fingerprints on the containers. Harper planted those. We have surveillance footage of you purchasing antifreeze. 3 different stores. Over 6 months. The prosecutor pulled up images. We have your real identity. Scarlett Morrison. Wanted in Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Rick started toward the door. 2 marshals blocked him. The prosecutor continued. We have the original will. Medical records proving Elsa Chen was completely competent. And we have this. Grandmother's voice filled the room. Clear, strong, alive. My name is Elsa Chen. I'm recording this on March 15th, 2024. I'm 79 years old. I'm of completely sound mind. My niece Brittany, whose real name is Scarlett Morrison, is poisoning me. She's putting something in my morning tea. I'm getting weaker every day. She's isolated me from my granddaughter Harper. She's brought in her husband Rick to steal my estate. I'm documenting everything. If anything happens to me, if I die, investigate them. They've done this before. Don't let them get away with it again. Silence in the courtroom. Absolute silence. Brittany's face was a mask of rage. That old woman was loaded. Harper didn't deserve it. She barely visited. I took care of her. I earned that money. Her lawyer grabbed her arm. Too late. She was dying anyway. What difference did a few months make? I needed that money. Rick's firm was failing. We had debts. Harper got everything handed to her. College paid, rent paid. I had nothing. Rick tried to run, tackled by marshals. His briefcase spilled. Documents, fake wills, forged signatures. A whole operation. Brittany turned on him. This was your idea. You said we could do it clean. You said no one would ever know. Shut up, Rick screamed. Shut up! But Brittany couldn't stop. Years of rage poured out. My grandmother in Ohio? That was easy. She trusted me. Signed everything I put in front of her. $50,000. Michigan was harder, but Rick figured it out. And Elsa, stupid Elsa with her codes and her secrets, I found them. I burned them. I won. The judge's gavel cracked like thunder. Remove them, both of them. Brittany lunged at me as they dragged her past, spitting, screaming. You ruined everything. This was mine. Mine. She tried to hit Dorothy, her own mother. Dorothy recoiled, crying, finally seeing what her daughter really was. The trial took 4 months. Rick confessed to everything. Testified against Brittany in exchange for a lighter sentence. Showed how they'd forged documents, bribed a doctor, faked my signatures, isolated grandmother, poisoned her tea slowly so it looked like natural decline. Brittany was sentenced to 25 years to life, 4 counts of first-degree murder. The other families finally got justice, finally got closure. Rick was disbarred and sentenced to 15 years. Dorothy was charged with conspiracy. She'd known and helped cover it up. She got probation and community service after she turned on Brittany completely. The estate was returned to its rightful heir. Me. Every penny. Every piece of jewelry. The house. I sold the house. Couldn't live there. Too many ghosts. Too many memories of what Brittany had done. Instead, I used the money to establish the Elsa Chen Foundation for Elder Protection. We provide free legal services to families dealing with potential elder abuse. We train hospice workers to spot signs of poisoning and isolation. We maintain a database of suspected predators. Last month, we helped 3 families, caught 2 people attempting the same scheme Brittany used, saved 3 lives. I visit grandmother's grave every Sunday, bring fresh flowers, tell her about the foundation, about the people we've helped. Sometimes I think about what Brittany said, about earning it, about deserving it. The truth is, grandmother's real inheritance wasn't the money. It was her integrity, her courage to fight back even when she knew she was dying, her trust that I would find the truth. That's what she left me. That's what they can never steal. 1 year later, I got a letter. From Brittany. Prison. She wanted me to visit. Said she was sorry. Said she wanted closure. I burned it. just like she burned grandmother's letters. Some people don't deserve forgiveness. Some people deserve exactly what they get. When someone tries to steal your legacy and bury you alive with lies, will you let them rewrite your story? Or will you fight for the truth no matter the cost? Because sometimes the real inheritance isn't money. It's refusing to let evil win. Drop a comment if you've ever had to fight for what's rightfully yours. And remember, the truth might take time, but it always finds a way out.